Welcome to the Loner Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn. I am the Loner Ranger. Appreciate you tuning into my show today on this beautiful Sunday morning. I'm hoping that I can bring some serious value to you, keep you up to date on what's going on in the real estate and mortgage industry. I have one of my all-time favorite realtor guests and partner on the Loveland Report and the Loner Ranger Radio Show with me today, Cleve Loveland. He's going to bring us up to speed on some market updates, but I want to really bring it to your attention as to what's going on in the market. Now, you guys have heard me talking about rates are going to go up, rates are going to go up, rates are going to go up. Well, I've been talking about that for a year because the Fed had threatened to pull back on tapering on mortgage-backed securities, and they threatened to raise interest rates by raising the Fed rate. Well, that happened. It's going to happen again. They're threatening to do it 6 more times. Don't know whether that's going to happen or not, but we saw the sharpest increase in interest rates in 1 week than we've seen at any 1 week since 2013. So interest rates are on the rise. I still think that they're attractive enough to where you should buy or refinance. If you haven't already locked in your rate, please give me a call at 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. Or visit my website at WeBringYouHome.com. I want to welcome Cleve Loveland, one of my all-time favorite real estate agents, to my show, and he's got some market updates. Welcome, Cleve.
Hey, how you doing, Bruce?
I'm doing great.
I want to go into the numbers, and this is basically what you and I do. You take numbers and we put them on paper and we explain to the buyer, the ins and outs.
No fake news here, baby.
That's right. We explain to the sellers what's going on, and numbers are the key to that. But then, as realtors, I fit those numbers around what you want to do. What do you want to get for your home? Is that possible? Where do you want to go? Is that possible? What are we looking at? What's the best things to do to make your house worth more? But right now, our inventory numbers, I love the Orlando Regional Realtor Association. As far as trade organizations go, I love them. They are awesome. And we get a great report.
They do a great job.
Every month we get a great report on inventory. And inventory right now, as most people know, is very, very low. We're about the same as we were in 2005 when things were going haywire. And there's only about 2,500 homes for sale in Central Florida. We're listing about 3,500 to 4,000 new homes a month, and then those sell. So we're churning up what's coming on new. So there's a lot of new people. Late part of last year, because of COVID, new listings was actually down a little bit, kind of held the market back. And the shortage of inventory right now.
What do you think was the reason for that?
Well, COVID, just people not going out.
Right.
But also getting into the problem we're in now is a lot of people don't know where they can go, because if they can sell their home, probably no problem.
It seems to be the biggest concern that our buyers and sellers, it's a joint problem, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to buy and you already own, then you are a buyer and a seller, right?
Yep.
So what do? Do I accept an offer on the one I'm selling before I find the one I'm buying?
This is what I coordinate for you. And we'll either get them fast track approved. Sometimes they can buy without selling, and that'd be good. Pick out your next house. I can normally have your other home sold before you even move into the other one or have your first mortgage payment. Or I'm getting a lease back. And that way you've got about effectively 2 to 3 months to shop.
So let's talk about lease back. So explain that process to our listeners there, because they're nervous about going through this process.
Up front, I just tell everybody in the MLS that, all right, the seller needs to stay in the property after closing, and we'll pay rent, or we can take it off the price, however you want to do it. But they need to stay in the property for 3 to 6 weeks, and that allows you to start shopping. You start shopping while you're looking. That's what my team does. We'll get you out there.
So in other words, you accept an offer on your listing.
Yep.
But in the offer that you accept, you tell the buyer of that home that's buying your home,
the seller won't
be
out.
You're not going to move out for 60 days after they close.
Up to 60. Now, sometimes, most time we don't need that.
Whatever that is, up to 60 days.
Most time we don't need that. But that gives the seller time to shop without an offer contingent on a closing. They've got their cash in their pocket.
It is contingent on the closing. It's not contingent on the sale.
Well, no. Well, they can shop with the closing, but this way the house is done. The house is done. The money's in their bank account. They're a buyer.
It's closed.
They're technically a tenant. And so
they are a tenant.
And so, but you've got them fast tracked.
They're ready to go.
And then I can help them shop around. This is what's important. Now, I've got like 5 people in in the car right now, looking at where they might go. Now, we're showing them a lot of homes that are pending, saying, all right, look at this house, check out these pictures, driving them through the neighborhood because they're already sold. They already had multiple offers on them. And they say, okay, I like this neighborhood, that house plan looks good, or we're showing them something that might be active. Really quickly, they go into it and look, and they can't write an offer because their home's not sold, but they're getting their feet wet, and they're not just getting thrown to the wolves.
Sure. Absolutely.
But we coordinate that whole process. But what I see happening right now, especially you talk about, you're going to update us on rates. I know they're climbing. That's making it a little harder, and it's going to pump the brakes on the market. I think we'll still have appreciation this year that's really good, but not as high as it has been the past couple of years. But I'll interpret those numbers for you, and all you got to do is give me a call, whatever's important about your real estate.
How do they reach you?
407-352-8118 or lovelandreport.com.
Yeah, so, and Cleve, here's something that I'm finding that has become more and more of a challenge. So I made it one of my goals for 2022 that I was going to help the most first-time home buyers in any one given year. I'm going to tell you something. So far, I'm not doing as well as I'd like to have done on that goal. And why is that? It's not that I'm not getting out. It's not that I don't have the programs. It's not that I don't have all my ducks in a row. But since interest rates are rising and housing prices are going up so steeply, it's making it more and more challenging for the first-time home buyer to get into a house.
That's the hardest one and the scariest one.
Well, and here's the thing. Your housing prices have gone up, say, 20% per year. Let's say 15% on average per year over the last 2 years, right?
Yep.
Fair enough. Okay. But your rents are also going up.
Yep.
If the interest rates are going up, then you combine that with inflation, we've got a 14% increase in your cost. But your income has not gone up 14% to be able to accommodate for that. So it puts those people at a disadvantage. Now, the folks that aren't at a disadvantage are the ones that listened to us and bought 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago, and now want to sell that home and buy a bigger and better
one. Isn't
one.
The important part that a buyer get a hold of you and say, where am I at? Let you check their credit,
What's
you
my
get them
status?
started. Because if you say, hey, look, you can only afford to go to 300, that's going to be a rough find.
That's going to be a tough
unless you
find.
want a condominium or a small townhome somewhere, and then you might not have your pick of where in town. But if you say, but hey, wait a minute, let's get rid of this $400 car payment you've got.
Right.
Save up, pound that car payment, get rid of it. Things like that you can tell them.
There are always ways that we can look
Pay off
at
this debt,
what your options are, and we do that. We look at your individual situation so that we can position you so you can not only be the strongest offer, but you can actually get into the market. So if you know somebody that's currently renting, I'm going to tell you something. You need to reach out and help that friend, that family member, because rents are an adjustable rate. They're going to continue to climb.
Yep.
They've been said that they're going to go up 20%. I don't think that anybody's individual rent, well, I shouldn't say anybody's, but I don't see a lot of rents going up 20% unless you leave the property, then the landlord raises the rent. If you stay in the property, they may raise it 5-10%.
Yeah.
Okay, but 5 and 10%.
It's still a raise.
If you got $1,000 a month payment now, it's going to be $1,100. If you got a $2,000 a month payment, it's $2,200. That's your 10%. Stop the bleeding and get into a home now. Let's get you locked in on a fixed rate mortgage so that you have something predictable in your life. Because we've got to be able to maintain some predictability, and home ownership is probably the best way to accumulate wealth and maintain that predictability. Otherwise, we don't know what our rent's going to be next year.
Yep.
You just don't know.
And for those of you out there wondering about selling your house and then how do you buy the next one, I would suggest the Leapfrog program you came up with.
Absolutely.
Let's rent your old house, because you're probably looking at, I bet you if they bought something for $275 or $300, $325, they're looking at like an $1,800, $1,900 mortgage payment. Probably going to rent for $2,500.
And we'll go back to teaching our Leapfrog program probably sometime later in this month or next month. But this is a way that I have taught people that don't have just money falling out of their pockets, okay? I never did. I got into every home I ever bought as owner-occupied, lived in it, kept it for a little while, rented it, lived in that one, kept it, rented it, and I multiplied that time and time again, and it made a lot of money, and I had other people paying my mortgage payments for me. So why wouldn't you be interested in that? I'll show you how to accumulate wealth by leapfrogging. Just call me at 407-706-3313. I'm the Lone Ranger. You can reach me at 407-706-3313, or you can text me there, or you can apply online at WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com. Cleve, tell me a little bit more about what because we're not fake news, we're real news. We talk about real interest rates. We talk about real struggles that people have in the industry. Talk about some other things that you're seeing that we're able to do to help people navigate that process.
I think the main thing for buyers is they get fast-tracked with you, and then you've got to have a full-time, tenacious realtor helping you buy.
Tenaciously negotiating.
Most of the buyers I'm getting right now are buyers that have been looking. They put in 7 offers, and then they're frustrated. They say, okay, it must not me. It must be the realtor. And they come to me, and I look at what they've been offering, and their offers aren't great. Their loan pre-qual letter is a vague one from a bank that says, if you're not lying to me, I think you can qualify. And they're just going to the bottom of the pile with their offer. They're also not being aggressive. I tell a buyer, if you're looking up to 350, probably need to shop up to 325, 330, and probably offer 350. And that's just the reality of the market we're in right now. And then you can always try and backpedal. Once you get the home, backpedal on inspection, backpedal when it doesn't appraise. And you'll know if the seller says,
but
no.
But you got to be in the market. You have to be in the deal.
You got to get it under contract first.
You got to get it under contract, then you can renegotiate based on other things.
You're not selling this house in 6 months. So these are the things I see people doing. And I think for sellers, the main thing is calling me before you're ready, 3-6 months out, and me going through my 50-point checklist to get the house ready. I see people spending too much money, and they need to save that for their down payment. And my typical fix-up on a house when I help people get ready is about 1% to 2% of price. And what I'm seeing is in their mind, they're about 4% to 5%, and I'm saving that money for them and putting that in their pocket to help them for the next home.
Well, and that's what we're here for, you guys. We're not here. Matter of fact, I don't have anything to sell you. I can only hope that you would call me when you're ready to do a mortgage. Cleve doesn't have anything to sell. He's actually providing a service to help you make money. So we are here to give you the real news. We're here to talk about challenges that are going on in the market and opportunities that are going on in the market. So one of the challenges is shortage of inventory and higher interest rates. Okay. Now you may hear commercials from other lenders saying that the interest rates are at an all-time low. I'm like, what planet are you living on? They were at an all-time low last year. Yeah. They haven't changed their advertisements yet. And mine is not an advertisement. Mine is news information on what's going on in the market so I can help you navigate this process. Because do I think that it's no longer the right opportunity to buy because interest rates are in the high 4s or 5s or even approaching 6s?
Well, here's
or
what's
7s.
important, Bruce. What's happened with real estate going up so quickly the past 5 years is that now about 70% of people's net worth is in their real estate. So don't you want a professional handling that? Somebody that's bought and sold thousands of homes, somebody that's owned rental property forever, somebody that's done thousands of leases, somebody that's done thousands of mortgages.
And listen, along the way, we will share our successes and our failures so that you don't repeat them. And sometimes we have to work hard on you guys out there. You're not listening to us.
Here's some crazy stories.
And we're telling you, don't do that. And they're like, well, you know what? I've really thought about this, Bruce.
I saw this on the interweb. Yes.
Yeah, I really thought about it. And I think I'm going to try doing it this way.
This was on TV. It worked for them.
Yeah. So listen, we're always here to give you sound advice that will absolutely benefit you in moving forward and amassing wealth in real estate. Just call me at 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. Or you can reach Cleve Loveland at the Loveland Properties at 407-352-8118. When we come back from the next break, I want to talk a little bit about what opportunities you have and how to position yourself so that you can become the winning offer. You hear Cleve talk about my Fast Track program. That's just not a trademark name. It is an actual service that we provide to help elevate you so that you become the winning offer when negotiating real estate. I'm going to tell you something. If the seller doesn't perceive you as being the easiest transaction for them to accept, they won't accept it. They'll move to somebody else. And I don't think a lot of the real estate agents are doing you a great service. I make honor calls to my listing agents so that they understand how well my clients qualified, but I also put my clients through my fast track loan approval process. And I want to tell you, we'll be back because Cleve's going to stick with me for another 5 minutes.
I got a couple listings I want to talk about.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about how to position yourself in that market using Fast Track for your loan approval. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loan Arranger Radio Show with Bruce Woodburn, 407-706-3313. 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313, or WeBringYouHome.com. If you'd like, you can go onto my YouTube page and subscribe to my YouTube page at Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger YouTube channel. Be back in 5.